pregnant. Do you remember that?
Yes, I did have contact with her when she was pregnant.
How many times?
Several times. Couldn't tell you exactly how many times, but several times.
Did she ever say anything back to you about who might be the baby daddy?
About 15 different people.
She did?
Yeah.
Do you remember the names?
Don't remember any of the names because I didn't absorb it because I knew that she didn't know herself.
Did she say the name Jamal Pennington? Do you remember?
I don't remember if she ever said that he was one of the candidates or not.
Do you know if she said Camille Pennington?
Don't know.
Or James? What about the name Cameron Jones?
I did not try to memorize any of the names that she was coming up with because I had been working with Ivy prior to her becoming pregnant. And I know that Ivy had multiple partners. And so I knew that Ivy probably did not know who the father of her child was.
Everybody. So do you know why police would have said you're the source for their search warrant? That Ivy told you Jamal could be the baby daddy?
If that's what one of the names that she put out at that time, like I told you, I was not able to absorb, all of the different names that she was coming up with.
Do you remember telling police that she was telling you who the baby dad could be?
Specifically right now, I don't.
Is that something you would have done?
That is something I would have done.
Have you done it in the past?
The standard procedure, how the 404 is drafted?
The standard procedure of how a Form 4 is drafted?
Yes.
I don't know if you asked me that. You asked me about what a Form 4 was.
Right. So how is it drafted, and what is the purpose of it again?
The purpose is it goes along with the paperwork, with the booking paperwork, when someone is booked into jail, to give an overview of probable cause, the initial probable cause for the initial arrest for the judge, and that then goes on to the prosecutor.
So why did you falsify the search warrant to get my DNA?
I don't know which search warrant you're speaking of. I didn't falsify anything. We were just discussing a Form 4 and not a search warrant, so I'm really confused. But if you could ask me specifically what you think I falsified, I would love to talk to you about that, but I don't believe that I falsified anything ever.
Did you author the Form 4?
I authored the Form 4, yes.
Okay. I'll show you the exhibit Form 4.
Okay.
Exhibit 71.
Thank you. Is there a particular part of it that you want, or do you just read
I
the
was
whole
just
thing?
wondering why you needed my DNA. What was the purpose you needed my DNA?
Objection, Judge, prior court rulings.
It has nothing. I'm not asking about
Just a moment here.
anybody else.
Give me just a moment here. Which specific court ruling?
Judge, I believe this is about what we were speaking about just before lunch and then right after we got back.
Because of the answer
The
itself.
answer to that question is
All right, we're going to take a 10-minute break here. Folks, thank you for your patience. We'll have you come back here at about 2:15. May be seated. I don't know what the answer is going to be, and so therefore I can't really project as to whether the answer is going to be something that is something for which the question was intended to elicit improper testimony. What are you expecting to get out of that question, Mr. Pennington?
What was the whole purpose of getting my DNA? I mean, that's.
I guess the issue here is if this is, DNA samples are offered or collected for many purposes. I don't know what that is going to be here, and I suspect that without hearing the answer, I don't know whether that would violate the prior court rulings. Any suggestions, counsel?
Your Honor, I don't want to put words in the detective's mouth, but my understanding what the issues with the search warrant.
I understand what you're about to say, so we don't need to say it, but what I'm suggesting is, do you have a suggestion for figuring out whether or not, for example, asking the question here.
We can voir dire the witness without the jury present to see what her answer will be, if that's appropriate.
I'm asking if you have any suggestions, and it sounds like that's one of yours.
I don't have an objection to voir diring the witness prior to the jury coming back in.
All right.
She's questioning her outside of the presence of the jury to ensure, I guess, that it won't violate the court order. So you'd be given a little more latitude without the jury.
So the question, Mr. Pennington, is are you okay with asking this question and perhaps some follow-up questions regarding it outside of the presence of the jury so that I can hear what the answers might be and therefore decide whether or not the question can be asked in front of the jury that in a way that doesn't violate the previous court rulings? Are you comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't we do that now? Is everybody comfortable with doing that now?
That's fine with me.
All right, Mr. Pennington, why don't you re-ask your question?
What was the whole purpose of getting my DNA?
So, I'm really kind of confused because you provided me a Form 4.
Right.
And you're asking me to review a Form 4, which is not a search warrant. It has nothing to do with your DNA. It's a probable cause statement to the judge. I'm assuming you're discussing the search warrant that was actually authored about getting your DNA.
Right.
Which, if I recall, and you can show it to me because it's been a long time, but I don't recall that I authored that search warrant. I believe it was Detective Brooks once he took over the case, and I don't think that I ever authored a search warrant to get your DNA. Not that I'm recalling. So I can review it, and if I'm wrong, I could be wrong. It's been a while. But that is to my memory that I did not author a search warrant to get your DNA, so I can't give that proper answer.
Exhibit 74.
I'm gonna close the door back here just so that none of this is being heard. Oh, thank you, Nikki.
So this was authorized by Detective Brooks, so
Okay.
it would be a question for Detective Brooks.
Okay,
I don't really want to speak to his search warrant.
okay. That's fair.
All right. Do you need to ask any further questions on that particular topic?
Not the search warrant for the DNA,
Okay.
the Form 4.
Okay, and that's fine because that's not something that is subject to the, well, I mean, I don't know what additional questions you might have, but right now the question about the DNA was what caused me to ask for
Right.
this. So when we come back, I will sustain the state's objection to that question. You can proceed with your cross-examination regarding whatever other topics you wish to get into. We've got about 5 minutes left in our break, so we're going to go ahead and take that now, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.